Sylvain Charlebois is the lead author of the report and a professor of food distribution and policy at Dalhousie University in Halifax. He's with me now. Monsieur Charlebois, thanks for taking time to speak with me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
This is the highest food price increase ever predicted in your annual report on prices. So what's behind the big spike in food prices? Give us some clarity here.
Yeah, so generally we're looking at a global phenomena. A lot of people may think this is just about Canada. It is not. We're seeing food inflation becoming a problem in many parts of the world, and so Canada is not immune to, say, problems we're seeing with supply chains. Mm-hmm. Supply chains are much lower, and when you slow things down with supply chains, it ends up costing more. So that's one reason. The other reason is labor. A lot of people may underappreciate the fact that when you actually increase wages, which is exactly what's happening in many parts of the supply chain. We just saw High River settle for 21% over 6 years last week. Many plants have actually are now offering higher wages. In a high volume, low margin environment, you have to adjust prices. So it's really putting a lot of pressure on retail prices. And the last one is input costs. Input costs are more expensive ingredients. So grains, barley, wheat, canola, all these products are more expensive. So to feed livestock and to produce food are costing more.
Why will some prices jump more than others? For instance, dairy products jumping by as much as 8%.
There's always a lag for certain commodities. So last year or this year in 2021, we saw the meat counter being a problem. I mean, we saw chicken prices, pork prices, and beef prices in particular go up just because the lag is much shorter. For chicken, it's very short. So we saw an increase of 13%. Pork is a little bit longer, 4 or 5 months. Beef is 8 months. But when beef goes up, it goes up for a while. And that's kind of what has happened. With dairy, the reason why dairy is really the one place where we're likely to see a lot of many increases is because the Canadian Dairy Commission, which is a Crown corporation, has to provide a recommendation once a year. And that happened just before November 1st of this year, and it will actually start on February 1st. So farmers will get more money for their work, but those increases will work their way through the supply chain within weeks after February 1st.
You talked about the supply chain issues from the pandemic disruptions globally, in some cases caused by weather events, such as the floods we've seen in BC. That has an impact on prices too. How long should we expect those supply chain issues to persist?
Well, it's going to last a while. Restarting the global economy is like steering a cruise ship with paddles. It takes longer. We'll get the destination, but it will take longer. And right now, the biggest problem we're seeing right now is that the entire global economy is just not synchronized. Some parts are doing well while others are struggling. Look at Europe right now. Europe is burning with COVID. So that's why things have slowed down, and that's going to last a while, at least 6 months. So we are expecting things to calm down by the time we get to the fall of 2022, but we never know. Right. Something else can happen.
The report also points to the growing role that food waste is playing in higher prices. What's the connection?
Well, food waste, when you think about it as a consumer, food waste is really the one bill you never get, but you still have to pay because you buy stuff and you buy food, but you never benefit from it due to poor inventory skills, maybe due to the fact that you don't want to eat leftovers and things like that. So waste really becomes a problem, and because of the fact that supply chains are much slower, people are actually probably wasting more because they're buying products that are much older and their shelf life has been shortened just because products have been hanging around on a train or on a boat or in a truck for much longer than usual.
Okay, look at what's the challenge here for policymakers? We talk about a lot of that on this channel. You're on the policy side as well. So what is it governments could or should be doing here to deal with the spike in food prices and the effects of that, or is there much they can do?
Actually, there is. So for one, the focus shouldn't be food prices. Obviously, we do make projections on food prices, but the biggest challenge for Canada, I think, is food affordability. So when you see the inflation rate go up, that's one thing. But if wages aren't moving along, that is a problem. In fact, the UN, every year, the UN publishes an index on food affordability. In 2020, Canada ranked 18th. It wasn't 150th. It wasn't first. It was 18th. So not bad, but we've gone down in the rankings. So we're now number 24, and we're expecting to drop even further in 2022. That's really something that government should be looking into. How much money people are making, how much money they are keeping after taxes, so they can afford to live well.
All right, lots to watch. And pardon the pun, food for thought today from Sylvain Charlebois and his group in this report. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll talk again soon.
My pleasure.